This program is a collaboration of personal opinions and individual free thought. It does not represent the views or narrative of the mainstream corporate media hacks. Viewer discretion is advised.
And here we go.
Live from the bell tower, taking a stand for your rights, your liberties, and all the bullshit in between. You're listening to Break the Bell Podcast.
Oh man, here we are. It is the Break the Bell Podcast, and it is Election Day Eve.
Yes. Hello, beautiful bell breakers. Can you feel it in the air?
Bill, can you feel it in the air?
I do.
Are you excited for this election cycle, this election season?
I'm ready for it to be over.
I am too. I was telling you before the show, like I was clicking on election ads trying to just find something stupid, and I was getting election ads on my election ads, and it's just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And it's just like the text election ads are getting to the point where it's like incriminating on my privacy at this point. It's just like I should not be receiving this many text messages from politicians.
Yeah, and like you were saying, you type stop, and then someone else starts sending them.
Yeah, do you think these are real people? Here's my latest. Joe Biden and the Democrats have taken Iowa in the wrong direction. How is Joe Biden taking Iowa in the wrong direction? It's time to vote them out and get our country back on track. Democrats' dangerous agenda includes reckless spending, causing inflation, soft on crimes, and open borders. Republicans are running to reduce costs, secure the border, and support our law enforcement. Click here to learn how to cast your ballot and save our country.
Ooh, save the country.
What's your latest? You got one?
Yep, I got one. Let's see here. Susan Weihnacht?
I don't know who that is. I probably should.
Yeah, right. Let's see. It says, a bold conservative vision for Iowa. Reduce taxes, grow the economy, fight for Iowa values.
Ooh.
Election day is tomorrow. If you have not already voted, American Energy Action Fund urges you to get out and vote for Susie Weihnacht.
There's nothing that says go vote than talking about your American values.
Right,
It's like if you throw the words American values out there, that's like, oh, my values are at stake.
Right.
Or the latest is democracy is at stake. But I feel like your values, that hits a little more personal. It's just like, do you value your values, Bill? Because if you value your values, protect your values by valuing this person for candidate.
Yeah. When I was driving over, I heard there's like these two people in a shopping market, and they're like, wow, these food prices sure are high. Do you think they'll ever go back down? And the guy's like, not if Joe Kinney and Joe Biden get elected again.
Do people not realize Joe Biden is not on the ballot?
I know.
He's not. I mean, I don't even know if Joe Biden realizes that, but
he probably
does
not.
So when they're like, don't elect Joe Biden and his cronies back, it's like nobody's voting for Joe Biden. I mean, I guess you could write him in because you can write in anybody. So what happens if Joe Biden wins a write-in ballot here in Iowa? What happens if that becomes?
I want to see someone write him in.
I want to see them all write him in.
Campaign to like just write in Joe Biden.
Yeah, just to see what happens. He becomes like governor of Iowa and he's the president,
or representative for precinct 236 in Cedar Rapids.
Yes, exactly. Or school board.
Yeah,
Cedar Rapids school board.
Yeah.
Oh man, he'd probably do it. He'd be like, it sounds like a step
up. People
have
spoken.
Yes. I don't know how that works, but I want to try just because it sounds fun. How's everybody out there? Are you guys excited for election time tomorrow? As excited as we are, because I am done with it. This has been by far the most, I'd say, ridiculous of the election cycles.
You realize it's just starting. Like you know that this is gonna, whatever happens tomorrow
sets the stage for 24.
Sets the stage for 24, and they're gonna start out January 2023, and it's not going to stop.
I don't even know if they'll wait that long. It'll probably be.
You're right. They probably
Wednesday.
will. Because
they'll
I already
kick it
saw. I mean, some of the texts I were getting was I can't remember who's running for attorney general, but they're like, Donald Trump endorses so and so for attorney general. Let's make America great again.
Oh God. Yeah, I heard Donald Trump is supposedly set to announce his running
Yes.
in the next couple of weeks. So he might save that. Maybe he'll do it tomorrow. Could you
Yes.
imagine that? It'll be like,
if it's
forget
a red,
about the
if
forget
it's
about the goat.
a red sweep like they think it's going to be. Yes, I can see him doing that.
Do you think he will wait and see do you think that's what he's waiting for, to see how it goes? Because
Absolutely.
I feel if it stays blue across the board in Senate, he's probably going to be like, it's not looking so good, because they're probably going to try to charge me.
Yeah, right.
He's waiting to see if Republicans take over, and they'd be like, well, they're not going to charge me, so I'm going to go ahead and run.
Well, yeah, exactly. And then if if the Republicans take over, then he's going to be like, it's a mandate. They want me back.
God has spoken in his great wisdom. In First Colossians 17:36.
Our one Colossian.
One you know the one Colossian.
Yes.
It's much bigger than the two Colossian. The one Colossian is the bigliest Colossian of all the Colossians in the great book. The book that's only number 2 to my book. What was it? The Art of the Deal. Go check that one out. But first of all, after you read that, then go read the good book.
Exactly.
I don't know. It's going to be ridiculous. Trump was out this weekend. We'll get into all the stuff. He was out this weekend in Pennsylvania, because Pennsylvania apparently is...
That's his buddy, Dr. Oz, right?
Yeah, and Pennsylvania is the place to be and the place to watch right now. And like I said, we'll get into all that, because I hate being told which elections, which races to keep an eye on. It's just like, why the fuck do I care about Pennsylvania's race? Yes, it does affect the Senate overall, but it's like, these people are supposed to be, it's supposed to be like for our state, so I don't give a shit about Pennsylvania's race, because I can't affect Pennsylvania's race in any way, shape, or form, unless I like somehow move there or move my dead grandma there in the next 6 hours. Then it doesn't matter to me what the race does, because I can't change that in any way.
There's that cringe factor, but also whenever you get somebody like in Iowa here, we have Chuck Grassley, who's like 92 and running for his like 50th term in office, and he's like, make sure you vote for me because I care about Iowa.
I'm a man's man.
And it's like, okay, dude, you've been in office forever.
Yeah, what do you know about Iowa?
Exactly.
Anyways, we'll get into all that fun stuff. We got like some of the most ridiculous quotes of or like video clips. I've got a few of them of this cycle. We've got some of the things, the races we're being told to watch, the things we're being told to pay attention to, the things that are up for grab, like the important values we're supposed to care about. They're telling us to care about and vote for. So we got all that stuff to talk about.
But
so
on the other hand of it, you got people like Hillary saying that if the Republicans get voted in, it's the end of democracy as we know it.
It's not just Hillary; it's everybody.
Oh, I know. I know.
That's the mantra right now.
But
so
she has the most grating voice.
Oh my God, I hate her voice. I do have a Hillary clip to watch. So
I was hoping you would.
I do. So you get to hear it. Before we get into the show, we obviously got to mention our democracy-loving coffee sponsor, which is Run Your Mouth Coffee. They support free speech, which I don't see too many politicians running on the platform of free speech these days.
No.
Not even the Second Amendment has made really
which I'm
too
surprised.
much. Yeah, they haven't.
Abortion's been real heavy on the other side. You figured Second Amendment would balance it out.
You'd think the other side would also be pushing against for like gun reform, kind of like they did 2 years ago. But nobody's really talking about that.
They need a good mass shooting.
I guess. I'm surprised we haven't had one as of late.
Right.
But back to free speech and coffee. Speaking of guns, free speech and coffee. Run Your Mouth Coffee supports your right to free speech, your right to be able to say all the things you want to say. without being a dickhead, I guess, without fear of being censored across the medias, across the platforms, across society itself. They also make a really good freaking cup of coffee. Go to rymcoffee.com. Tell them we sent you. By using the promo code BreakTheBell, you'll get 10% off your purchase, plus free shipping, and that's a freaking awesome deal. And you'll get deliciously fresh roasted coffee shipped straight to your door without ever having to put on a pair of pants, and that is America. Vote for democracy. Vote for ordering your coffee without wearing pants.
Yes.
That is all.
It's the American way.
rymcoffee.com. Do it. Do it now. Check us out all over the social medias. You can find us on all the major platforms at Break the Bell Pod. That's our handle on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And you can find us across other platforms, some of the smaller ones that are out there. If you hang out there, let us know, because we don't hang out there as much because it's like we only have so much time. But I like to hang out on Twitter. So if you are on Twitter, definitely follow me, because I like to talk shit to a lot of the politicians and the talking heads that are pushing some of these same talking points that the politicians push. Bill likes to hang out on Instagram, from what I'm told. So you can find us all over the social medias at Break the Bell Pod. Share us far and wide, because that's how we get our name out there to do bigger and better things. And that's ideally what we want to do.
Do you have to enter like the PvP realm of Twitter now so you can like go at it with people?
I not yet.
Okay,
I don't think so.
okay.
I don't think that's a thing yet, but I'm going to get there.
Yeah.
I will take on the best. So, I am the ultimate troll on Twitter.
Yes.
One of the ultimate trolls. So, if you enjoy trollery, follow me at Break the Bell Pod. And share it. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button, do all that fun stuff that the kids are telling you to do these days, so we can do more.
If they do that, what they should do is like put your record next to your name, like 33-0 and Twitter battles.
That would be badass. Yes. Elon Musk, if you're listening, take our advice and do that.
Yes.
We're going to get right into the show, and we're going to be talking about the midterm madness and all the bullshit that surrounds it. So strap in, get yourself something to drink, because we're going to have fun. Why not?
Absolutely.
Here we go.
What did you say?
You talking to me?
What the heck are you talking about?
What did you say?
What did you say? What did you say?
Are you talking to me?
Are you talking to me? Are you talking to me?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
What did he say? What did you say?
Are you talking to me?
Well, maybe he was talking to me.
What did you say?
Talk to me.
What in heaven's name are you talking about?
Talk to me, baby.
What did you just say?
What did you say?
You listen to me. Are you talking to me?
Are you talking to me?
What the hell are you talking about? Who are you talking to?
I was muted, but we're back. And now we're not muted.
Beautiful.
We are back. That's what I was going to say. Talking about the midterms, the madness surrounding the midterms,
Yes.
all the stupidity surrounding the midterms, all the... It's almost like there's not even empty promises anymore. Like,
No, they
like
don't even
politics used to be empty
Yeah,
promises.
right.
Like, vote for me, and I support this, and I support this, and I support this. Now it's just become, vote for us because we're not them.
Right.
They're bad, we're good, vote
Yeah.
for us. And the other side's like, no, they're bad, we're good, vote for us.
Well, that just shows how polarized we've become.
Yes.
I mean, they don't even need
They
to
don't
say
have
what
to
they
try.
stand for.
Yes.
Right, yeah. They're just like, well, we're not Republicans.
Yes.
So, vote for us.
Vote for the Democrats because we promise you we are not the Republicans.
Exactly.
The Republicans are like, vote for the red guys because we are not the blue guys.
Exactly. Yeah.
Vote. I mean, it's just become a freaking shit show all around. And the real threat to democracy is the fact that elections have turned into such a shit
Right.
show.
Yeah.
It's neither side is a threat to democracy. It's just the shit show it's become is
Exactly.
the threat to democracy.
And nobody cares to put what their platform is or what they want to do, what their vision is. There is no vision anymore in politics, right?
There's agendas, but they're
There's
not
agenda,
going
but there's
to
no
spell
vision.
them out. They're just
Exactly,
going to wait till they're
because-
elected.
Right. They don't want to scare you away. And it's become very sad.
So let's kick this thing off right. You had sent this to me like 15 minutes ago, so I wanted to share this. This is from the Republican Security Council, and this is a Facebook post. They're doing the social media is the right way. So let me pull this one up. It says, "This is how you know Tuesday will be a red wave. It's literally in the stars. On Tuesday, the Earth, Sun, and Moon will align to create a blood moon eclipse. It will be the last total lunar eclipse until 2025. It is the first ever total lunar eclipse on Election Day." So there's going to be a red moon that says there's going to be a red wave and Republicans are going to win. It's in the stars, even though that's the moon. I don't know if the Republicans know this or not, but that is not a fucking star. That is a moon. way to fuck up a stupid point to begin with.
Right. Yeah.
What do you think about this? You think this is a sign from God?
I saw that and I was instantly was like, oh God. And Jen's like, what? And I was like, I didn't want to tell my wife because my wife is very much
staunch Republican.
Yes, staunch Republican. And so, but I knew you would appreciate it.
I definitely appreciated it, and I added it immediately to my list of things to cover, right at the front of the line, as you see.
Yes.
So is God telling us that Republicans need to win this?
I think God is telling us that it just needs to be a blood path. We need to
Yes.
flip over the entire
Yes.
political system.
God is like, you see this is a sign, and we're
I'm
like,
done.
oh, it's a sign for Republicans are going to
Yeah.
win. It's like, no, it's a sign that
Yeah.
you're all. I'm
Yeah.
done with you all.
Yeah,
I give up.
There's nothing I can do anymore.
I give up on all of you.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the elections. Can you believe it's that time of year again, or not time of year, but that time of 2 years? Like
Yes.
it's been 2 years.
Yes.
Since like I had a memory pop up on Facebook because we post our episodes on Facebook, so it always reminds me of the episodes we did last year, the year before. It's just like, oh, that's what I talked about. That, and I had seen one that was like the day of the election or day before. It was just like. The title was "Let the Cards Fall" or something like that, and it was basically like, well, the votes have been cast. We're just gonna let it be what it is. And little did we know how shitty that would turn into the next day.
Yeah, right.
And so
I had a really long post that I had posted about like being in the middle and my observations and all this, and I look back at it now and I'm like, wow.
yeah, you had no idea.
Well, one of my predictions
Bill.
was that Biden wasn't going to make it through the year.
Oh wow, yeah, that was
Remember?
our prediction.
Yeah, that's what we thought.
We were like, well, if he isn't killed, he won't make it through the first year.
Yeah.
And here we are in 2022.
2 years later.
He's still kicking somehow. I don't know how. Do you feel that this year's midterms have been a lot more ridiculous or about the same level?
No, they have
ridiculous?
been way ridiculous.
Is it because we're paying more attention, do you think?
I don't think so because I've always kind of paid attention. But
my response to that is I've been trying to not pay attention. so I don't think that's the case either.
yeah, no, I definitely think because again, this is the first time that I can remember that people aren't even trying. Again, they're just very polarized, very much. Hey, we're not Republicans. We're not Democrats. And I've had my friends on Democrat side, posting stuff like, hey, if you vote for this, then that shows that you're supporting January 6th and everything that means.
We're
right?
still talking about that?
Yes, I know, right? I'm like, okay, I thought after the trial of the century, we moved on.
Yeah, January 6th, wait, 2020? Oh, yeah, 2 years ago?
Right.
Or was it
2021?
2021? But still, almost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So can we move away from that and talk about something else ever?
Yeah.
I feel like they've completely given up on not just political strategy, but strategy for the country as we know it. It's just like they're not even trying to be like, as a politician, I feel like this is where we are and this is where we need to be and this is how we get there. There's none of that.
No.
I mean, there's the whole Inflation Reduction Act and how much inflation reduction has that caused?
Yeah.
Zero. I mean, there's plenty of agendas and stuff, but there's nothing that's like short term. hey, our country's sucking right now. We need to move it here. Both sides are saying the other side doesn't have a plan to get us out of recession or inflation.
Yeah.
But neither side is giving up their plan for
yeah.
inflation reduction. Is it? You think it's kind of like Trump? It's like, well, I got this great plan, and if you vote for me, I'll let you know my plan.
Yeah, no, that's basically it. But I again, I think they feel like they don't even need to try. So like, this is a Facebook post from a Democratic friend. I cannot figure out why Democrats seem unwilling to tie Trump to every race on the ballot. The choice isn't Grassley and Franken. It's Trump and Franken. Trump and DeGier.
Trump and Franken. That sounds.
I know.
Sounds like a freaking 1950s Halloween character.
Trump and DeGier. Trump and Mathis. Every vote for a Republican is a vote for January 6th.
Oh, good
Trump
God.
betrayed his oath, his people, and his country. Maybe that should be the closing push.
Is there any way to move away from January 6th as a Republican even? I mean, I know plenty of Republicans that are like, I don't want anything to do with Trump.
I don't think so.
Liz Cheney and her freaking clan. I mean, none of them endorse Trump anymore. But if you vote for Liz Cheney, it's still a vote for Donald Trump, according to these people.
Yeah.
Because they're Republicans. And it's no longer even Democrats versus Republicans. It's Democrats versus MAGA Republicans.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the term MAGA has been stamped on everything that is Republican.
Yeah.
And we'll see some of that in the things that we look at tonight. It's just like the MAGA agenda. It's just like the MAGA agenda. It's like Trump's not even running.
I know. Well, this is their fear porn, you know. It's it's the same people that came out with that poll during COVID. You know, if you could end COVID today, but you had to keep Trump as president for the next 2 years, would you do it? Or would you rather Trump be taken out now and you have to deal with COVID for the next 2 years? And people overwhelmingly said that they would take COVID over Trump. Right?
So fucking ridiculous.
I know.
It's just like this disease that those people are saying is the disease to end all diseases and everybody's going to fucking die.
Yeah.
But we hate Trump so much that it's more important that we get him out than save your grandmas.
Right. I mean, that is how absolutely batshit crazy people are over this.
So let's talk about some of the things that they're talking about because like the Democrats' main focus has been character. Literally up till last week, they've switched courses to democracy's at stake, and we've seen kind of that shift on social media. Not kind of, overwhelmingly that shift on social media. But before that, their main focus was character.
Right. Yeah.
What does that mean in an election? Are like cartoon characters? Because John Fetterman, John Fetterman, he's definitely a cartoon character,
without a doubt.
He is the 1993 Super Mario Brothers, the Goombas from that, he is literally that. He is a cartoon character. So, I mean, if you want to talk character, that's the only thing I can come up with because none of them have fucking character.
No.
And how little do you have to run on when your main talking point is character?
Yeah, right.
It's like the country's going to shit, but what we need to focus on is character.
Yeah. And the main focus of that, or reason why, is because, they're trying to say, okay, if you question the integrity of the election,
you don't have character.
Yeah, you don't have character. So then they're like, oh, well, we have character because we stand by our beliefs in the system, right?
Do you know who doesn't have character? Donald Trump doesn't have character. Right. If you vote for Donald Trump, then you don't have character. If you vote for any Republican, you don't have character because Donald Trump has no character. I just won the election right there.
Yeah,
that's my talking point. It's just bizarre. Like usually they have like a very set platform, like we're saying, running on guns or pro guns, anti guns, pro abortion. Like abortion hasn't even been main topic.
Well, it was for a while, but then they realized nobody cared.
Well, yeah, I mean they're tagging that onto democracy dying because abortion rights and Social Security and Medicare, and I mean it's just like a sub-talking point now to character and democracy.
Yeah. And because remember, that was one of the fear things that they started out with was that, they're going to do away with gay marriage and interracial marriage and blacks wouldn't be able to vote anymore. I mean, they're going to segregate schools all because of this Supreme Court decision. Mm-hmm. And so that's, so vote blue, vote blue. And I saw that a lot of times on my Facebook page is like, who you vote on will depend on how this country goes.
Yep.
So
We'll get into that in depth. But
Yeah.
first I want to talk about, I brought up the fact that we keep being told which races to pay attention to. Not races like black, white.
yeah, right.
Like election races to pay attention to. And that always has sat wrong with me, not even just when I start paying attention for a podcast, just always. It's just like the most important elections that you should pay attention to. It's just like,
Yeah.
well, fuck Iowa over there.
Right,
They don't
yeah.
matter.
Yeah.
Pay attention to the Pennsylvania or the Georgia or the Arizona race because these are the ones that matter.
Yeah.
And I was under the impression that the Senate, and I've got a definition of what the Senate is supposed to do, and because the whole point of midterms, I mean, there's governors, and then another one is like when they tell you one of the most important races you should pay attention to is the Arizona governor. It's like the senator, I kind of understand because yes, they kind of shift the balance of the federal Senate. But why the fuck do I care about Arizona's governor? That doesn't affect me at all.
No,
I don't affect it. It doesn't affect me at all.
The reason why they're so scared of her is because she is, I guess, what you would call a Trump Republican.
Well, yeah.
And she's very, very popular. This is a woman that they think is going to run for president, not this next time, but the time after. So that's why they're scared of her.
Well, and
Tulsi Gabbard backed her.
I guess the governors, aren't they the ones kind of responsible for sending the delegates to the electoral college or whatever? I mean, we saw that.
And whatever election rules that they put in place is typically set, in voting districts and whatnot.
Still, I don't care about Arizona's governor at all.
Right.
But back to the senator thing. I've got this here. This is from myhighplains.com. And it says what senators are for. It says senators take part in deliberations and voting within the Senate with the goal of advancing issues and positions that matter to their state.
Mm-hmm.
So it's it's our representation. They're supposed to go to the Senate and be like, my state wants this.
Yeah.
This is how my state can be benefited from this governing body. But instead, they focus on the second part that says they also serve to advance the interest of the country, or the agendas of the country. There's no more, hey, vote for this guy because he's going to do what's best for your state in Washington. No, it's vote for this guy because he's a Republican and we want the Republicans to maintain power so we can push the Republican agenda. That's it. And it's just like,
and that's my issue with these Republicans that are running this term or the last term or re-election, whatever, is that they're so focused on the interest of the country that they voted against school choice in our state.
Republicans did?
Yes.
What the fuck?
Because they knew that they would get slammed by the school boards and everything, and because they were so demonized by school choice. And I care about school choice. I want to see school choice in our state. But they voted against it because they much rather put the ideals of the country, because they know that's what will get them reelected.
Yeah, it bothers me when somebody doesn't have their own morals because they're too fucking afraid of not getting elected. It's like, you should be elected on what you stand for, not on what they think that you think they want you to stand for.
Yeah.
So, well, this isn't going to be popular with the votes. Right. I mean, I stand for this. I know you stand for this, but that's not going to get us elected. Yeah. So I can't stand for this.
Right. And that's why when we have people in office for 50 years, they're not pissing enough people off. They're not rocking the boat because they're playing it safe so they can keep their office.
Right. I feel like if there was term limits, people would try to get more done in that 4 years, 8 years, whatever the limits are.
Exactly.
It's just like, well, I only have so much time to do things. Maybe
I got 4 years. I need to fuck shit up.
Yeah. Or it's like, my term limit's coming up in a year. Fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to push this law. Instead, it's just like, well, re-election's coming up next year. Do we really want to push that? I know it seems important, but do we really want to make waves now?
Is it really worth your career?
Right. Exactly.
Do you really want to make the tuna the national bird?
So do you want to hear the races that we're supposed to pay attention to this year?
Absolutely, I do.
Midterm elections are heating up. Pay attention to these races, not your own race,
Yeah, right.
not your own
we need
governor.
to find a better segue.
Yes. No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Don't pay attention to like Iowa's governor
Right.
or your own school board or your own senators. These are the ones you should pay attention to because the media said so. So let's take a look at these. It says midterm elections are just 2 weeks away. So this is a little old. Midterm elections are actually a day away, just so you know. I don't want to be like slammed for like voter fraud because
people thinking they have 2 weeks to go.
I
vote.
misled somebody saying, hey, it's 2 weeks. No, midterm elections are tomorrow, people. These are some of the races voters should be looking out for on election night. Every state is participating in this election cycle, whether it's through electing a new governor, state representatives, or senators. So let's get into the first part is the House of Representatives. Republicans are favored to win the House of Representatives during this election cycle, according to 538 and Flavin. I don't know what that is, but
What?
but 538 and Flavin. Oh, that must be a guy that's following them.
Oh, okay.
Just some guy they're following. They're quoting in this. Dr. Pat Flavin. He's something. Bob Bullock's professor of political science. Okay. Anyway, this Flavin guy and 538.com says that Republicans are favored to win the House.
Sure.
Says a majority requires 218 seats. Now listen to this. This is funny to me. I don't understand this, so maybe you have more political science knowledge than I do. Currently, Democrats hold 220 seats. Remember that. Republicans hold 212.
Mm-hmm.
There's 222 Democrat seats and 213 Republican seats up for election. How is there more seats up for election than there are those people?
Yeah, I think they kind of did a typo there.
Yes, I mean that does add up to the 435.
Right.
Between the two, but when there's only 218 or 220 Democrats, how is there 222 seats up for election?
Yeah. Right.
So, I was under the impression maybe how often do the representatives get reelected? It's every single
6 years, isn't it?
I guess. Well, all of them are up right now. I didn't know it ever got to a point where all of them were on the ballot. I thought they had that worked out where it wouldn't be that way.
That's
but
what I thought too.
Apparently, all of them are up for grabs.
Interesting.
So, again, more are up for grabs than are holding those spots. So that was weird to me. I don't understand it, but oh well. It says 197 seats are predicted as solid Republican, meaning they have 99% chance of going to that party. 16 are likely Republicans, and 6 are leaning Republicans. There's 163 seats as solid Democrat, 30 are likely, and 13 are leaning Democrat seats. I don't know how they know this shit, just based on polling, which we know polling is not very accurate.
Okay,
but
2-year terms. 2-year terms for representatives.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, I say vote them all out. Vote them all the fuck out. They're not doing their job.
Exactly.
It says there are 10 toss-ups. The local toss-up districts are Texas 15 and Texas 34. So those are the big ones we got to pay attention to.
Texas, which is traditionally a Republican state anyway.
Yes.
Right?
So, the two top things we should pay attention to is Texas District 15 and Texas District 34.
Gotcha. Are you concerned about Texas?
I am very concerned about Texas. I can't even say Texas right now. The 15th District of Texas in the southern part of Texas, running from Hidalgo County towards Seguin. The largest city in the district is McAllen.
Never even heard of McAllen.
No. No.
It's not like Houston or Dallas or Fort Worth.
Just this
McAllen.
nothing town. Yes. Since it was created in 2013, the district has only been represented. God, I can't talk. Only been represented by Democrats. Currently, it's represented by Vicente Gonzalez, who is running for Texas 34. So currently, it's ran by this guy who is actually running for a different district next time. So he's like, "Fuck y'all, I'm out."
Yeah, I can't do anything with this place.
Yeah, Vincent is. What was the town? McAllen.
McAllen
is it's too small. This place, I can't be effective here, so I'm out. So you see how things are up for grabs there because their own guy is just like, no, I'm done. Michelle Vallejo and Monica de la Cruz are battling to represent the district. Vallejo is slightly favored to win with 59% chance over De La Cruz, who's the Republican. Flavin, the guy we're quoting on here, said whoever wins the district will drive a particular narrative on election night, likely about the status of Hispanic votes in southern Texas. Basically what he's saying is if Republicans win, they'll be like, oh, look at all the Mexicans that love us. If the Democrats win, they're like, oh, the Mexicans still love us. So, yeah, they're going to use it.
Yeah, I see what he's saying, but I feel like he's reaching.
Well, I that's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they do either
Oh,
way.
I know that.
If you win one black
Yeah.
vote as a Republican, you're
Right.
like, look at we've got a black guy. Look at our black guy. Black people love us.
But can you come to the Republican National Convention? We want
Yes.
you to talk.
Exactly. The next one is Texas 34. It's also part of southern Texas, running between Brownsville and Corpus Christi. There's a name I've heard, at least.
Yeah.
Some of the major cities include San Benito and Alice. Texas 34 was also created in 2013, represented by Philemon Valle Jr. until his resignation in March. A special election was held in June of 22, electing Myra Flores to the vacant seat. Vincent Gonzalez from Texas 13 is running
over.
for 34th.
Corpus Christi. Who wouldn't want that district?
So yeah, this one's interesting. It says because both candidates are incumbent representatives. So so they're both.
Oh, I get you.
Yeah, it doesn't usually happen this way because
Sure.
people don't usually switch districts
Yeah.
and say, but he's not really an incumbent, but he's an incumbent.
I get the appeal, but it's still not interesting enough to get me to watch.
No, but this is like the big dog
Right.
here.
Right.
Says there are maybe 2 or 3 districts around the country that have that, which is 2 incumbents
Running against
each other. So I guess the reason this is so important is because this is one of very few Democrat districts in Texas.
Sure.
So they don't want to lose that stronghold, that small
Right.
stronghold in Texas. So I guess that's probably why
Okay.
we're watching this. But it doesn't really say why this is so important
They're
other
not
than that fact.
Concerned about Pete Buttigieg at all taking over as governor of Texas?
It doesn't say that,
Okay.
so that's not important. Don't watch that. All right, so the Senate, the things we're supposed to pay attention to. It says Democrats are slightly favored to win the Senate with a 56% chance of capturing a majority. Currently, the Senate is split with 50 Republicans, 48 Democrats, and 2 independents. Vice President Kamala Harris is the tiebreaker.
Yes, we've heard her say that before.
I didn't know. There's more Republicans than Democrats in the
I
Senate?
don't think so.
I think that's backwards.
I think so too.
I feel like something's messed up. I don't know. I thought it was 50-50.
It is 50-50.
Majority requires 50 seats. There are 21 Republican seats and 14 Democrat seats up for election. I'm not going to get into all the facts, like the statistics there. I don't care. Georgia is a big one to watch. Georgia's Senate election is a tight race with incumbent Raphael Warnock, a Democrat, having 54% chance of winning over Herschel Walker, the ex-NFL star.
Oh yeah.
Turned
MMA fighter.
turned
Yes.
politician now.
Yes.
Which I got a little bit of stuff about Herschel Walker. Let's switch courses real quick.
Gotcha.
We need to talk about Herschel Walker and his controversial mental health diagnosis. Did you hear about this one?
I didn't think we could talk about that because we couldn't talk about the dude with the stroke.
But we're going to talk about him too. So we
Oh,
obviously
okay.
got
All
to
right.
talk about
we
this
got
guy
balance.
too.
Balance.
Yes, we got to balance this out. I didn't know Herschel Walker has dissociative identity disorder.
I didn't know that either.
Now, knowing that, should that disqualify you from running at one of the highest political offices in the land?
No, because I think that most people in office have dissociative psychological disorder.
Fair. Okay, that's fair. Now, the fact that he's willing to admit it says maybe he's not sociopathic enough to run for Senate. So maybe that's it. But apparently he says he's been healed of that. So he's good.
Okay.
But
I don't
we
think
got to
you can
talk
be
about
healed,
that.
but
I don't know either. I think you can
You
stay on
learn to live with
medication
it,
and
yeah.
learn to live with it.
Right.
But at what point?
Yeah.
I mean, is there flare-ups? Is there, is there like, oops, I forgot to take a pill, so Randy's coming out tonight? Like, how does that fucking work? I don't know. We're laughing. It's sad, but
Well, maybe his other identity is a Democrat.
Maybe that would be interesting turn
Wouldn't
of
it?
events.
Wouldn't it?
In his 2008 book, Breaking Free, My Life with Dissociative Identity Disorder, Herschel describes 12 alters. 12. So Randy's not the only one hanging out there.
Damn.
Or separate identities that used to take over his psyche. There was the consoler who soothed Walker as he was mocked for his weight and stutter during early adolescence. There was the hero who put on the facade of not being affected by schoolyard bullying. The warrior who loved physical contact. The harder, the more brutal, the better. And the coach who would send in whichever alter was most appropriate for the situation at hand.
My guess is he was not planning on running office when he wrote the book.
Yes, he's just like, shit.
That wasn't me. That was Randy.
Yes. Yes, I did not say that. I did not write that book. Walker has identified himself as having dissociative identity disorder, a mental health illness defined as the presence of separate identities, often called alters, that function independently of each other and are autonomous of each other, according to some research. Oh, the NIH. So,
they know what they're talking about.
they know what they're talking about. Once known as multiple personality disorder, DID is a complex diagnosis. Among experts who treat the condition, it is believed to be caused by the inability of many traumatized children to develop a unified sense of self that is maintained across various behavioral states. Walker says his DID was brought on by childhood bullying. So it goes on to say that he uses it in the past tense, and everybody knows he's dealt with mental health, but he says he's mentally better than 99% of the people in America, which is probably not a lie.
That's probably not a lie.
It goes on and talks about how nobody's really bringing up the issue. They're barely mentioning it. What's your opinion on that? Is this something that his opponent should be talking about or pushing? It's just like, do we really want this guy here because of this? Is that something that should be brought up?
I don't think so. I mean, he's not running for president, okay?
I mean, we get shunned for mentioning the idea that maybe President Biden has dementia.
Right.
So maybe they should just shut the fuck up and not say that he should.
Well,
this should be brought up because apparently we're not supposed to talk about.
But I would think if it was an issue, right? If there was some incidences where the coach is beating the shit out of somebody, then I mean there would be reports of that, right? I mean, has there been any reports of him, just losing his shit? And
I don't know. Nobody's talking about it.
Right, exactly. And you would think but I guess his opponent is favored to win. So, if his opponent was losing, he probably would be talking about it all the time.
It talks about how, despite the fact Walker's Senate race is one of the closest and most consequential in the nation.
Consequential.
His DID diagnosis seldom gets more than a brief mention in media reports. Some are even reluctant to discuss DID more generally. One reason for their discretion is the so-called Goldwater Rule, a code of ethics adopted after hundreds of psychiatric experts weighed in on the mental fitness of 1964 GOP presidential candidate Barry Goldwater via a survey organized by Fact magazine. At the time, Goldwater was seen by many as having extreme views on nuclear weapons and domestic policy, and some of these experts' views or suspected his views implied a mental or emotional disorder. The leadership of American Psychiatric Association was outraged by the survey, arguing the responses, many of which allege that he suffered from psychosis or schizophrenia, had no scientific or medical validity whatsoever. The APA president, Daniel Blaine, denounced the survey findings as hodgepodge of personal political opinions of selected psychiatrists speaking on individuals. The difference here is, they've gone on to make a rule barring psychiatrists from speculating on the mental health of public figures. The difference here is they did that with Trump.
Right.
Constantly.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, there was even doctors that were just like, well, I fear for his
He's a
mental
narcissist,
stability.
right?
Like his mental stability,
Yeah.
he could push the nuclear button at any time. I mean,
they didn't even. His general wouldn't even. Or called it the Chinese counterpart to warn him.
Yes.
Right.
So the difference here, though, is that's using politics to be like, well, obviously he's a mental case.
Right.
This is a diagnosed mental condition.
Right. Yeah.
There's a difference there. There's a difference from saying, well, Trump's obviously got mental disorder because of his political standings.
Right.
Or there's Herschel Walker that's like, I've got DID. And
Right.
you see the difference there?
Yeah. Well, and it would be different if Walker was like, I just think that, we need to go with the Constitution. We need Second Amendment rights, and we need to fucking kill them all. I mean, so there's a big difference in that.
It's like, Randy, calm down.
Yeah. Whoa, Randy. And then he gets in a fight with himself on the pedestal.
Stupid.
Shut the fuck up, man.
Now, my thinking, though, is probably a little different from yours. I don't think people should be like they should use that as a smear campaign against somebody, but I do feel like it's important to maybe question the mental capacity of a politician that's running. It's just like, well, you've got this. I mean, this mental diagnosis here supposedly would bar him from carrying a weapon.
Yeah, right.
But he's allowed to run for the highest not the highest office in the land, but one of the higher offices in the land. I'm not saying that should disqualify him, but I am saying we should be able to ask the question, is your DID a problem right now?
Right.
Is it a problem? How do we know it won't be a problem tomorrow?
Right.
Like, how can you, like, do you have a psychiatrist signing off on this saying, hey, I've been clean for a while now?
And I would guess, or I think at least, that being under the pressure of an election, you would see things slipping out here and there, right? And if nobody, if those things aren't happening, and like you said, and if he's confident enough that he's, cured with his DID, then have your doctor come on and be like, you know what, I've been treating him for 20 years and he's fine.
Yeah,
right.
But I mean,
I've never seen a case this wonderful. I mean, something like that.
I mean, you get doctors that are politically motivated. They'll find some quack doctor.
Yeah.
That's what both presidents did. It's just like, well, he's as healthy as a horse. Yeah, remember Joe Biden's like, my doctor said I'm basically like, couldn't believe I'm a 79-year-old man. It's like, I'm spry and young, and it's just like, if he said that, you paid him to say it.
Is it possible that in 2008, when Herschel Walker was not very in the limelight, he decides to write a book and talks about his problems with bullying and how he's developed these different, to get some attention, to get some sympathy, right? Sell a book.
I mean, that's possible.
And now here we are, 15 years later, and he's like, shit, I kind of want to run for office now.
They're like, what about your DID? And it's like, actually,
I'm cured. I'm cured, right?
Jesus cured me.
Right?
Now, some other Herschel Walker stuff that has come to light is, he's running for Republican, which is running on an anti-abortion platform.
Sure.
Well, it's come out that he has funded multiple abortions.
Okay.
Like a second woman, this is the second person in a couple of months to come out and be like, what's he talking about? He paid for my abortion.
Wow.
What's your thoughts on that?
When was it? I mean,
that's what I'm looking. It says Herschel, because this is the woman who came out anonymously, obviously. Right. Herschel Walker is a hypocrite, and he is not fit to be a U.S. Senator. We don't need people in the U.S. Senate who profess one thing and do another. Says she's declining to share her identity out of safety concerns. Says Jane Doe said she had an affair with Walker while he was married to his first wife, Cindy Grossman, from 1987 until the alleged abortion in 1993. So you're talking 30 years ago. Right. Is it possible people have change of heart, change of mind?
Yeah.
Does it make it is kind of hypocritical.
Well, it is, but again, it's something, and I don't know if he's addressed it, but it would be fair to be like, hey, yeah, I did this. I was wrong. I shouldn't have done it. I was young. I was rich and stupid. Mm-hmm. What Obama came out and had said that his views had evolved on abortion or evolved on gay marriage or whatever. So I think it's possible to grow.
Yeah. Why is it one thing? Why is it okay for somebody to evolve on one side, but if they say they evolve on the other side, well, that's just hypocrisy.
Right.
Or what about Obama saying he's just smoked weed, he never inhaled or whatever, and he's still against legalization of marijuana, or George W. Bush, or all of them.
Yeah.
Name all of them. They've all done drugs, but they never came out. What's the difference?
Right. No, you're absolutely right.
Besides blatant hypocrisy.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, politics are ran on blatant hypocrisy, so why is this even a story?
Absolutely. No, again, I don't know how he's addressed it, but I think it's something that, he should address and be like, yeah, I'm sorry, I wasn't conservative when I was in my 20s. I was a liberal.
One more thing on Herschel Walker, speaking of hypocrisy, is this article here that is slamming Herschel Walker for saying he's found threats to democracy.
What does that even mean?
Well, here, basically, so it starts out, this is from MSNBC, so it's fantastic. Herschel Walker has noticed Democrats emphasizing threats to democracy, and the Georgia Republican apparently wants to contribute to the conversation. Here's an example. He says, the biggest threat to democracy is to have Senator Raphael Warnock out there, to have Senator Warnock voting to put men in women's sports. That's the biggest threat to democracy. Well, no, actually it's not, is what they say. The next thing he says, when you have a president talking about the biggest threat to democracy, it seems to be to electing a Republican. But I want everyone that is listening to me, the biggest threat to democracy is to have Biden in the White House. And again, they say that's not a threat to democracy. They give a couple more quotes from him saying this, and then they say at the end, where was it? Where was the quote? It was great. It's as if Walker has been encouraged to think of random things that bother him and then just add the biggest threat to democracy at the end of the sentence. MSNBC is saying
Talk about
this.
Hypocrisy.
Right? Like it's okay for everybody on the blue side to throw out the words, the biggest threat to democracy. But as soon as Herschel Walker comes out, he's like, that's not a threat to democracy. This is. And they're like, well, it just sounds like he's just throwing that on the end. It's just like, well, you're missing the point that he is responding to the fact that you're throwing that on the end of literally everything. Like literally the end of every post that comes that you see on Twitter from somebody claiming to be Democrat ends with democracy's at stake, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know any of his platforms, anything he's running for, but he seems to me like he's just your stereotypical politician.
Stereotypical celebrity turned politician.
Right. They're a threat to democracy.
Yes,
right.
Exactly. I mean, that's the running gag these days.
I'm all about freedom. They're not. They're not for freedom.
Exactly. So I mean, they're just mad he's playing their game.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's get back to the races that we're supposed to pay attention to.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
The big one, Pennsylvania. I got to mention Pennsylvania because they talk about Nevada. They talk about Nevada's Senate election is also a dead heat race. Who cares? I want to talk about Pennsylvania because this one's fun. Have you watched any of?
Yes, you sent me some
stuff?
clips.
Yes. Well, we're going to remind ourselves about this one because this is the battle between Dr. Oz, TV personality, and John Fetterman, who, like I said, is Goomba from the 1993 freaking Super Mario Brothers movie with John Leguizamo.
Yes.
Yeah, that one that was terrible. It wasn't even a good Super Mario movie.
No.
So
I don't know how people could be so pissed off at the new one that's coming out. Have you seen they're like so pissed that Chris Pratt is doing the voice of Mario?
Oh, because he's not Italian?
Yeah. But they're okay.
John Leguizamo's not Italian.
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't he Hispanic?
No. Yes, and Bob Hoskins played Mario, and he's British.
Fantastic. Yeah, but that's fine. That's fine. Back to here. Pennsylvania Senate race has ebbed and flowed during the election cycle as well. John Fetterman had a significant lead over Mehmet Oz. Where does that come from? Mehmet.
I don't know. Is that
Mehmet.
Israel?
I don't know.
Is he Jewish?
I don't know. It says throughout August and September, but his lead is closing. Fetterman is slightly favored over Oz at 59% to 41% chance. Now, like I said, we got to remind you of this fun, heated race here. Of course, my video has to reload. And it's not going to have the tagging points. Oh, yeah, it is. All right, hang on. Don't get too far ahead of me, Dr. or Mr. Fetterman. Now remember, we can't discuss like mental disorders, or
Of
we
course.
can, or are we supposed to? Are we allowed to? Because that article said we should.
Yes.
But most people are saying we shouldn't.
Yes.
This
I
guy
think
had
we
a
can.
fucking stroke, all right?
Yes.
And yes, that's sad.
Yes.
But I feel like it was sad watching them push Joe Biden in the 2020 campaign.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just like, this is so sad to watch. They're
Yes.
like, but I mean, they're propping this guy up hard.
And there are people, I mean, lots of people have strokes and they heal quite fine.
Yeah, I don't know how this guy was before his stroke
Yeah, I
either.
don't
So
know
this
either.
just might
Yeah,
be this
this
guy.
might be normal him, right?
Yes, but let's watch this.
Okay.
That's all I have
He
to
looks
say.
like a Muppet.
We're just gonna watch a clip from this and tell me how the fuck Fetterman is still over Dr. Oz in this.
It is only fully funded through 2034. Many Americans are worried that they will never receive their full benefit or have to accept cuts to their benefits. Mr. Fetterman, how are you going to make sure it is there for them? You have 60 seconds.
We need to make sure that Dr. Oz and the Republicans believe in cutting Medicare and Social Security. And I believe that they have to support and expand Social Security. And if somebody sends me to Washington, D.C., I would support and stand and to support security, Social Security.
Okay. Dr. Oz, same question to you. How are you going to make sure that Social Security is available for future Americans? You have 60 seconds.
We made a deal with the wonderful seniors of our nation. They worked their hearts out. They paid into a program. No one's going to touch it on my watch except to make sure that it's stronger than it is right now. Social Security, Medicare, which I know a lot about as a doctor, are the fundamental element of security for our seniors, and they deserve to feel.
But you have 15 seconds in a moment, Mr. Fetterman, but can you give us a...
He gets more into it because he kind of pushes back against Fetterman's response, but he gets a little more into like how he's going to do it.
Specific example of what you would do to protect Social Security?
Well, for one, we have to make sure that it adequately increases with the higher inflation.
Now, first of all, why did they stopped him and they're like, we want a specific example of how you are going to... They didn't do that to Fetterman.
Right.
He just said, well, I support it. And they're just like, oh,
great.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, Dr. Oz, specifically...
Yeah, specifically, what are you going to do? Don't give us the same bullshit he gave
So we've got to make that 4% of wasted money that right now is in the budget redirected appropriately. And one of the first places that I would use it is Social Security and Medicare. And here's the reason. One of the worst things we can do to a people is give them bad quality care. And so if you have... If you have people who are not going to see a doctor, for example, because they can't afford it, they'll get sicker. Bad medicine means more cost. No one benefits.
Thank you. Mr. Fetterman, he said a few things a moment ago. I want to give you 15 seconds.
He said a thing. What do you have to say?
Now, again, I can't just say one thing other than that Dr. Oz would not support, and he would support cutting Medicare. And that's
John, why do you say
third
that? I've never
fucking
said that.
It's absolutely a fact. It's a fact. You would have voted against the inflation reduction.
Rewind that.
One of the worst is Social Security.
Fetterman, he said a few things a moment ago. I want.
He's like, Dr. Oz, because Dr. Oz is like, we're going to like kind of revamp it. We're going to have it like increase with inflation.
Right,
we're going to do
take
this.
the 4% of money not getting
Yes.
used and put it towards it.
Yeah, and he's like, but Dr. Oz wouldn't. And he's like, but I would. Why do you say that? And he's like, no, it's a fact. You wouldn't.
I want to give you 15 seconds to respond to those.
Now, again, I can't just say one thing other than that Dr. Oz would not support, and he would support cutting Medicare.
Hello?
John, why do you say that? I've never said.
Everybody, ladies and gentlemen, we have a caller here. His name is Dan Smotz. He's with the System Is Down podcast. Dan, how's it going?
It's going fine. I just came here to tell you that your audio is not working and nobody can hear John Fetterman this entire time.
Are you fucking serious? Are you serious? How is that?
I just pulled it up to see what you guys were talking about, and I was like,
why is
it frozen? Can you
How is
hear
that
us talk?
possible? Like what? Yeah, you can hear me fine, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Why? What the hell?
You're a little glitchy, but that might be on my end.
Why does life suck so much sometimes?
I think it's the blood moon
That's probably
affecting the tides,
that's most
which
likely.
affects the Wi-Fi signal.
I don't understand. I don't understand anything.
I can reenact Fetterman while you wait.
Yeah, as you should.
Roe v. Wade.
And what Roe v.
I
Wade?
stand on Roe v. Wade. And Oz
Yes.
has never standed on Roe v. Wade. And that's where I stand. I stand on Roe v. Wade. I believe in that. I stand on it.
I like it. It's good. That's really good. I don't know.
That's nuts.
Anyway, talk about Mr. Fetterman, because you've covered him extensively. Why are you so dark? You're like in the dark. You look like
I'm celebrating the blood moon
of
the eternal equinox of. Does everybody else around the world, do they have the same blood moon, or does it turn a lighter color after it gets away from our election season? Because it does seem odd that it's happening right now on this day.
Now,
and I'm just wondering, as it moves away from us, does it get brighter in the rest of the world?
Did you see that?
Or are they having elections too?
Did you see the Republicans predicted a red wave because of because it's in the stars, because of the red blood moon? Did you see that one?
Yeah, Republicans are retarded. I don't know if you knew that.
That's fair.
And there could very well be a red wave. If I were a Republican, I would be like, yeah, there's going to be a red wave because these leftists are fucking crazy. Like, obviously, there should be a red wave if you were being reasonable with it. No, it's written in the stars.
Yeah, which
God came down and said, there will be a red wave, and he gave us a blood moon. We couldn't have seen this possibly coming. Like, it's not like it just happened. Like, they know when it's going to happen, right? They knew that it was going to happen now, and they know that it's going to happen in 2025. So it's not like the stars just aligned. You knew when election season was, and you knew when the blood red moon was, and it just happened.
Yes.
Okay? It's not God. God's not a Republican. He doesn't care about your stupid, shitty party.
But this is the first time it's happened on Election Day. You didn't hear that part? It's got to be God saying, hey, we need more Republicans out there.
Or maybe it could mean that shit's going to get so bad that God just, wipes us all off the face of the earth, and it's like the actual apocalypse.
I think that's what
the
we
red
thought.
wave is actually a sea of blood of children.
That's what Bill predicted at the beginning of the show, is that
Right.
that's most likely the case here, not God loves Republicans. So I'm going...
Everybody votes Democrat, and God comes down and he's like, well, there's clearly no saving this. He just wipes us out.
Yes. Yeah, this is some bullshit of epic proportions. And I'm glad you came on and told me that, or we would just be playing, because the second half we have mostly videos to play, so that would have been very lackluster. So actually, I think I'm going to go ahead and take a break and try to figure this shit out. So we apologize that you didn't get to hear Mr. Fetterman.
Yeah, because it's Class A stuff.
Yeah, basically what you missed was Fetterman just bumbles over himself saying, well, I'm going to do that. That's the thing I'm going to do. And Dr. Oz actually has good points, even though he is a TV personality. Yeah. So do we risk having another TV personality in office, or do we take...
Dr. Oz sucks. Dr. Oz is a hack.
You think so? What? Tell us more about why Dr. Oz is a hack. I don't know a lot about
anything about him.
Frickin'... Maybe we should take a break first, and we'll tease it. All right. Your audio is all sorts of glitchy right now.
Dr. Oz is a hack. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk with Dan Smotz about politics and the midterm elections. And this show is going to go off the rails because it already has, because of stupid shit. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to keep talking. So we'll be right back.
Have you ever thought that maybe voting, maybe all this politics constantly surrounding you is not the way to achieve freedom in your life? Hi, I'm Remso W. Martinez, and I ask myself the same question. That's why I'm on a journey to find true freedom in my lifetime. From learning about financial independence, to new ways to develop rugged individualism, to amazing guests living strange, crazy, amazing lifestyles that you've only thought might be real, but actually are. Go ahead and check out my new show, On the Run with Remso W. Martinez at the We Are Libertarians Network. You can find On the Run with Remso W. Martinez on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play. You know how the internet works. Come on down and let's discover how to achieve real freedom in your life together.
Hey everybody, I just want to take this time to give a big shout out to the very first sponsor of the Break the Bell podcast. That is Goulash Media. They can be found at goulashmedia.net. Goulash Media specializes in graphic design, web design, audio recordings, video work, wedding videos, music videos, even political campaign videos. Goulash Media caters to the little guy with the big vision. You can check them out at goulashmedia.net. That's GOULASH media.net. I think we're back, and I think I fixed my problem, but I need Dan to get back in. Dan, are you still there?
I guess.
Are you? Okay, good. All right, let me get rid of the music. Well, I hope I fixed the problem. I could see it. The video is coming through the mic, so we'll see. So I apologize for our stupidity because we're stupid.
If you have
Can
people
you hear it
who
now?
are not going to see a doctor, for example, because they can't afford it, they'll get sicker, bad medicine.
Could you hear that? You won't hear. Hang on. What is going on? Now we're all like
really
frozen.
bad, but it's there.
I don't know what the fuck's going on. Anyways, videos might not work out. Maybe we'll just have to talk about videos, which is fine. We'll just talk about them because this is going to be more of a headache than I want it to be.
Right.
So you alluded that Dr. Oz is a hack. What is going on? Like,
Like everything's
everything is locking up. I'm killing the videos. Killing it. It's gone. Now come back. There we go.
Until you said killing it, you were in the Matrix. So
Am I still in the Matrix?
not at the moment, no.
Okay.
All right,
I
good.
killed the Dr. Oz video was killing our feed somehow. So I'm not doing
think
any
it's just
videos.
John Fetterman. His it's contagious.
His condition is wearing
Right?
off on
Computer
our
caught Fetterman. Got a virus from it.
our computer's having a stroke. I had to completely shut down my computer and bring it back up, which is probably what they had to do to John Fetterman after every campaign rally. But tell us why Dr. Oz is such a hack. Because you alluded
Oh,
to
he's
that.
he's just normal. He's just a normal politician, hack, whatever. He's just saying things that are mainstream talk points and not all the good ones either. He's
But isn't
pro-Israel, hardcore. He's all happy vax or whatever.
Isn't that
He's,
what they
all for trans kids transitioning, stuff like that.
So how is he running on the Republican platform if he doesn't stand for the stuff that the platform stands for, apparently?
Well, it's because Republicans don't stand for anything. And even if they have somebody like a slam dunk of a competitor like John Fetterman that they're running against, they'll put up Dr. Oz, squishy, just wishy-washy politician.
Yes. Now,
TV personality Dr. Oz.
Now, who do you take, though, Fetterman or Dr. Oz?
Bullet.
I guess that's
fair
fair
enough.
That's
That's
fair.
fair.
Yes. So
I do not accept your terms.
now, how did we get to the point where the main politicians to focus on are either an ex-NFL player with multiple personality disorder and Dr. Oz, who is a TV personality doctor, not even like a real doctor, but like a TV doctor. How did we get that as like we have Trump and then we have NFL player and then we have Dr. Oz? It's like, do we ever get back to like having politicians as politicians?
Or normal people? I hope we never get back to having politicians as politicians. I hope we get to having like decent human beings as politicians instead. And we went from, I mean, we look at like Trump versus Hillary and it's like, how did we get to this point? And now it's like down to even the local levels where it's like, our Senate races are Oz versus Fetterman. It's like, and I was like looking through all the Illinois candidates and everything today, like going through like their platforms and everything. It's just so pathetic. Like nobody is good for the most part. Like there's some good libertarians here and there, and there's a couple. There's even at least one Republican that I'm going to vote for over one of the Libertarian candidates, because the Libertarian sounds like a hack based on what he has on his website. But a lot of these people, like there was one, I could pull it up, but like you go to her website and the entire website is literally just her saying, I got Donald Trump's endorsement. I am the Donald Trump endorsed Republican. Here's me and Donald Trump. Here's a picture of us smiling together. And that's it. Like
That's
there's
her
no
platform?
issues. There's nothing. That's all that matters now. Like your platform is just you're a Trump guy or you're not. You're an anti-Trump guy.
And then
These
her
are the two
opponent
options that
is
we have.
like, and this person is supported by Trump. They're backed by Trump. They're a Trump person, so don't vote for them.
Yep. That's our two platforms. You're either I'm for Trump or I'm not that guy who's for Trump. That's our arguments these days. The one
And
thing
she had like a 15-second video on her site too, where it's like just talking about Trump, and then at the very end it says her opponent, whose name I don't remember, he was endorsed by Joe Biden. Like, no shit. Like that's all this is.
Well, the whole Fetterman clip that I was playing was them arguing about who does and doesn't support cutting Social Security, because the clip has Oz saying, no, I think Social Security should go up as inflation goes up. And Fetterman's like, no, you plan to cut Social Security. That's a fact. And he's like, no, it's not a fact. He's like, but it is. And
You're making Fetterman sound way more articulate than what he is.
So
Right.
what do you think about this? Like, this is from Democrats.org, so it's got to be like from God. But it talks about Republicans cutting Social Security, and that's the platform they're running on. First of all, the sentence starts out with, and I talked about this at the beginning, Republicans double their efforts to push an extreme MAGA agenda. Is everything Republican related now? You got to put the tagline MAGA on it, because...
No, it's not all Republicans. There's some good Republicans. All the Republicans, like the Bushes and the Cheneys, that vote for the establishment. They're great. I'm talking about those MAGA Republicans. They're the evil ones.
Yes, obviously.
Yeah. Biden is very clear on his distinction. If you are willing to support the regime, then you're good. If you're willing to support Donald Trump's regime, then you're bad. And there's nothing in between. That's deep.
So this talks about Senator Rick Scott, who apparently... I didn't know this was a position. Rick Scott is apparently in charge of electing Republicans to Senate.
Wow.
Did you know one man held so much power? I thought that's what this whole vote was for tomorrow, not Rick Scott being in charge of electing Republicans to Senate.
That's how it works, man. As soon as you vote the wrong way, democracy dies.
Well, yeah, we'll get there. That's next, because but first we got to talk Medicare, because this is one of the important things on the ballot. So Rick
The least
Scott,
interesting thing on the ballot.
right? Exactly. His plan would sunset, or as they say, eliminate all federal legislation over 5 years under the risky assumption that worthy laws would be reenacted. So his proposal is, if the law is good, let's just not like create a law that it just goes on forever, because we might find out that law is not necessarily a good thing, and we might want to back that off at some point. So we should put sunset limits on these Medicare and Social Security laws. So every 5 years, if it's a good law, obviously we're going to re-vote for it and make it happen again. That's what he's saying. But obviously they had to throw in the part that Scott is planning on eliminating it after 5 years because they're MAGA Republicans.
And they hate so this is Democrats saying that the Republican is trying to eliminate this every 5 year thing?
Yeah, no, they're trying to eliminate Medicare after 5 years because he wants to put Scott, the guy in charge of of electing Republicans, proposed we put a sunset every 5 years on Medicare laws. So we have to, I don't know, keep it accountable and revisit it every couple of years and say, hey, is this working or not working? Instead of making it a permanent law where it's basically you got to pay an arm and a leg to get it taken out if the law fucking sucks. I don't see a problem with that at all.
And they should do the same thing with politicians.
Yes, that too. And Rick Scott.
Yes.
What do you?
I don't have a firm stance on this personally. I don't. It's probably for the better. I would have to hear a debate over why we need this. It's probably for the best that every so often we look at government power and say, do you guys really need to keep doing that? I'm all for that. There's a part of me that's like, seems like what you're trying to do to some degree is make up more reasons for you to have a job, like more things for you to keep yourself busy or whatever. But, you know, if they're distracted, focusing on do we need these old laws, I think that's probably for the best. Because it's probably best that they're doing nothing at all. So if it distracts them for a bit and they might repeal some laws, that's
fine. That's fine.
I'm for it.
I mean,
So the whole point is that they have this week at least made this one of their top talking points over even the abortion shit is Republicans want to eliminate Social Security. Republicans want to get rid of Medicare. So
Because abortion ain't working. It's not giving them what they thought they were going to get.
Yes, exactly. It's just the fact that this one little blip that he has in a proposal of, hey, let's maybe revisit this every 5 years. That's what they have that they're using as one of their main talking points this week, coming down to the final day before election. They're like, they want to get rid of Social Security. It's like above.
Wow, that's a trick we haven't seen since the 60s.
Yeah, no shit.
But I mean, they're kind of. I mean, that's a huge reach because I mean, nowhere in the sunset clause, whatever, does it say, "Oh yeah, let's get rid of Social Security and Medicare too." I mean, that's just as.
If it did, I'd be all about that.
Yeah, right.
But it
Everybody
doesn't,
would want that.
I'm skeptical.
I mean, we all fucking know that there's not going to be money there for us anyway.
Right, yeah.
So why do we care? Why
Right.
does
I don't.
I mean, they're just trying to get the old people votes at this point. They're like,
I say
"Oh."
push grandma over the cliff.
Yeah, I mean, whatever happened to like back in the Viking times where they had them just like go jump off a cliff when they got too old to manage.
Give them
So-
a sword, send them off to fight the wolves.
There you go. I mean, that's the platform I'm standing on. The senior citizen care is just leave them to the wolves. Dan, what's your solution to the senior citizen problem?
Start with Fetterman.
Dan?
Wait. Hey. I'm
All right.
unmuted now.
Okay.
Oh, I like your idea. I like feeding old people to the wolves. I think that's a good first step. And it would clear up a lot of the Social Security issues. I think we might be able to put them to even better use. The wolves can find food. They can fend for themselves.
Yeah.
We should probably just feed them intravenously to the young, because that would give the young an elderly spirit, just in the same way that we feed the blood of the children to the elderly to keep them youthful.
I
mean,
like
it's
it.
just a give and take.
Yeah,
They got to
sure.
give some things back too. And it would give the kids wisdom. It'll give the elderly
Death.
longer life or something. Yeah.
No,
Death. I don't know.
If we, I mean, if we eliminate all the old people, that just means the young people are going to. It's like when a dad dies, the 12-year-old boy now has to be the man of the house.
Yeah, there you go.
Is that even still a thing? Can you say
It
that
should
anymore?
be.
Can you say the man of the house?
No, I don't think you can.
I don't know,
I
but
think
yeah,
that's
Might
very
get booted
assumptive.
for that.
they have to mature faster to be able to fill those shoes. So if you get rid of the old wise boomers out there, then maybe that fixes all the problems that we have right now.
But then what would we do about the Walmart greeters? We lose all those.
I don't know. It's all
Maybe we
going.
can
And the
get a robotic one.
politicians. I mean, come
That's
on.
true. That's
Who's
true.
going to run this country if not for the
Old people.
fucking dying elderly people that are running it right now?
That have all our
It-
best
it's
interest at
insane.
heart.
It's insane how firmly their grasp is on power, that they are not willing to let anybody of any slightly younger
Yeah.
generation below the age of 75 do anything around
Is
here.
that not like the ultimate boomer mentality?
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
the
you know it
ultimate
is.
kids these days mentality. It's like
Yeah.
kids these days can't run this country. So we gotta stay. We gotta stay until our
We
deathbed.
get a young buck like John Fetterman, who looks like he's, an ox with a mental retardation. That's our young vote now, and he wears a hoodie to cover up his massive goiter that's controlling his brain.
I
So
saw-
he's young and hip. Hello,
I s-
fellow kids.
I think he's sponsored by Carhartt because he's always wearing a Carhartt hoodie. But I saw one interview on like CNN or something where he's sitting down and like old man shorty shorts and his Carhartt hoodie and his legs are spread open. I'm like, dude, this is not the view that of the typical politician. I mean, maybe he's going for the everyman
spreading for justice.
Yes. So let's move ahead because
Spread 'em for Fetterman. That's the new slogan.
What's your thoughts on
Doing the Fetter spread?
Have you noticed on Twitter the switch in this shift in Democrat rhetoric towards the whole the super push for vote blue or democracy is going away? Like in the last week and a half, it has just ramped up. And apparently, according to this article, they changed their message last minute to be this: democracy dies if you don't vote for us. Is it smart to switch your message in the last 3 days before an election?
That depends.
It depends on
what
if
your message was before.
I was going to say, depends on if it wasn't working before. Because
Right.
before
If your message before that was like trans all kids if they survive the abortion at any age up to the age of 2, then yeah, maybe going with if you vote wrong, democracy dies. Yeah, I mean, as stupid as that is, it's still less stupid than what they were going with.
Right.
Well, before you popped in, before their top speaking point was character. That was their top platform. Character. Vote for character. And it was just like, what does that even fucking mean? So
Tell
now
me you don't have any platform without
Right.
telling me you don't have any
right,
platform.
exactly. That's what I feel about democracy at stake. You have nothing to speak on. So let's just throw democracy out there because everybody loves democracy. And if democracy dies, then that's bad, right?
Yeah. And democracy.
I just need to know, what are the steps? I mean, everybody votes Republican. Step 2 is something, and then democracy dies.
No, there
I
is
just
no
need to
step
know what
2.
Step 2 is.
There is no step 2. It's
Oh.
just you vote Republican,
They're
to it.
democracy's dead.
They're going to rewind the clocks back to the 20s.
Yes, because this says Biden's Democrats.
Democracy chooses wrong in their free and fair elections, then democracy dies
Right.
somehow.
Exactly. That's exactly it. It says Biden's Democrats have struggled to persuade voters on kitchen table issues, such as 4 decades high inflation. So then it says they're kind of getting hurt because the Republicans are pushing this whole soft on crime and inflation thing. So they had to kind of change change the rhetoric.
MSNBC just came out with this huge report about how crime really isn't as bad, real bad right now.
What you're seeing is not really what's happening.
Yeah, it's like it's
what
a
it said
misnomer.
was crime isn't that high except for if you exclude murder. So excluding murder, crime is not up.
It's not so bad if you take murder out of the
If you take
scenario.
the worst crime out, then crime's just fine. It's like I don't know. Except for bleeding intravenously, cancer's not all that bad,
Right.
you know?
So this last sentence here says, it's a quote from Biden. It says, democracy is literally on the ballot. This is a defining moment for the nation. Don't they say that every election, though?
Every time.
Did you hear Biden and Obama joined forces with Fetterman to campaign in Pennsylvania the other day?
It was so beautiful.
I want to see the three of them talk.
Well, I got to thinking, I was like, Biden decided, he's like, I'm going to go on the trail with Fetterman. And then the campaign managers are like, nobody's going to understand anything. So we need Obama to come on and translate for the two of them.
Right. We don't have an interpreter that can handle the two of you in a room together. But I do think it's beautiful. Just the idea of, Barack Obama, who was suave and debonair, so he was bombing American citizens and people left and right, just for the hell of it. So he got away with it because he was super suave and well spoken. Right. And they're like, we're gonna send in the big guns, and he's now, imagine him having to support Joe Biden in the first place, and try and prop him up. Now he's got to go support Fetterman and be like, this guy's got it. He knows what's up, and everybody can just stand there listening to John Fetterman. Just babbling about nothing while did you guys see where he's giving the speech and the gust of wind comes and all the American flags just fall over behind him?
If that's not, the blood moon's supposed to be a sign from God.
Nope.
I would think that would be a sign from God more than the blood moon they're talking about.
Yep. But I do like that Barack Obama is getting the punishment that he has created for himself.
Yes. Barack Obama, though, I had video clips, but I can't play them apparently. But he came on and he's like, a lot of people are saying that they like democracy, and democracy's that. He basically says the same thing. It's just like,
yeah,
really, lots of people are saying that
because being around Fetterman and Biden are dumbing him down.
yes, exactly. So that's the mantra is save democracy, vote blue, and that's literally been the mantra on Twitter. And I've noticed since Elon Musk took over Twitter, I don't know if there's a correlation there, but I've been seeing a lot more of the bullshit political stuff that I didn't want to see on Twitter, rather than my happy echo chamber that I had formed on Twitter. So I keep getting posts. I don't follow this guy, Rob Reiner. Who's Rob Reiner? He's an actor.
Yeah, he was big in the 70s. He was on All in the Family with Carol, what's his face?
I don't know.
Yeah. It was, anyways, he was a comedian. He was on a sitcom in the 70s. He's a liberal dude. And yeah.
Well, apparently he is bought and paid for by this new marketing strategy of the Democrats, because
he's tried blue.
All I've seen every day is Rob Reiner saying shit like this: save democracy, vote blue. That was 11 hours ago. Then he retweeted Stephen King saying, I don't care what you think with the blue check as long as you vote blue. The next post is, our closing argument: if we want to continue down the path of our founding fathers, laid down for us, if we want to preserve our right to vote and continue 246-year experiment in self-rule, we must vote now, and the vote has to be for Democrat.
They have nothing left to run on.
No.
They are completely morally and like politically bankrupt of all ideas. They've run themselves completely dry because everything was the end of the world. Everything was Nazis and white supremacy for the last 6 years. They've run out of things to run on.
Well, think about all the liberal celebrities they could have put out there. George Clooney, Matt Damon.
They found Rob Reiner.
They put Rob Reiner out there. That just tells you where they're digging.
Yes, they're digging into the cesspool of celebrities. This is like a daily thing, because I'm just reading down the line of his posts. I'm not like skipping other posts of his, because this is his next post. In the next 5 days, we determine if a woman will still have the right to choose, if our vote will still count, and if we will still be a constitutional democracy.
Oh, God.
The next one, not a hyperbole. A vote for a Republican is a vote to end democracy. So
ignoring the fact that we're not even a fucking democracy.
Here you go. If you don't vote for the Democrats or don't vote at all, you are choosing to accept living under fascism. What do you think of this guy? And I have to see this shit every fucking day. Every time I open Twitter, here's Rob Reiner telling me to vote blue or end democracy.
Do you want to trade Twitter accounts? Because all I've been getting is NBA, NFL, sports, and I would love to get Rob Reiner dropping some stupid ass retard shit in my feed every day. I would have a field day with that.
Now my thought is Elon Musk must have fucked up the algorithms, because it's gotten that bad.
He probably just spun the dial and wanted to see what popped up and be like, okay, you get that, you get that.
So can we beat that horse enough about vote blue or end democracy? Do you think Republicans are out there to end democracy? Do you think that's the biggest threat to democracy, Dan?
God, I hope so.
So let's move on to other stupid shit, because we're here to talk about the stupid shit, and the videos don't work, so we might as well just talk about the stupid shit. And it's all the rest. I'm just going to talk about the stupid things that are being said in this election cycle. One is, did you hear Carrie Lake? You know Carrie Lake, running for governor. Carrie Lake said that if MLK was still alive, he would vote for basically MAGA Republicans. That's what she said.
Sure.
Dan, are you frozen or speechless?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know what MLK would have voted for. I don't care what MLK would have voted for. I think that's a stupid thing to say because you have no real evidence of that. But yeah, he might have.
Well, I don't know. That, and you're a white woman.
If he
who's
was
a Republican,
if he was living in today's day and age, he might have come to the same conclusion as Carrie Lake. I don't know, but it's really stupid as a white woman to assume that, and it's no different than the white Karens on the left saying that you need to whatever, all the virtue signaling nonsense.
Yes. Now, I would think she has to know she's going to get more shit from this than she is going to get applause from her couple of black fans out there. I would think she's got to know that, right?
Or was it more for like her white base that are like, yeah, we're not racist?
Probably.
That's my guess. Yes.
Most likely that. Okay, what about this one? Did you hear when Hillary Clinton said that it is a fact that more red states have higher crime than blue states? That's her talking point. I wish.
Yeah, I do like how we're focusing on states now, not cities.
Well, yes, exactly. And that the whole point is, and there's an article here that actually it's from Fox News, so obviously they're against what she says. She comes out because obviously the Republicans are running on this massive crime wave. The Democrats there's so high crime with the Democrats, and I don't know if that's true or false or not, but it seems to be a talking point.
Right.
Well, Hillary comes out like 2 days before election is like, the Republicans are just trying to scare you, and it's a known fact that red states have higher crime than blue states. Now, if this was a known fact, why are they waiting till now to point that out? Because the Republicans have been saying this for like 2 fucking years now, and nobody has come out and said, hey, newsflash, red states have higher crime. If it is that, like, well, duh, obvious, why is she just now, at the last minute, throwing this Hail Mary pass saying, guys, all my listeners that are probably voting blue anyway, it's clearly a fact that red states have higher crime.
Did her and Chelsea talk about this on their podcast, Fierce?
Probably with the WAP chick.
Yeah, right.
Most likely. So Fox News came out and basically debunked it, as they do, but basically saying what you said, that yes, it's red states, but it's predominantly blue cities in the red states, like Chicago.
Yeah,
like
Illinois has a very high crime rate. You know where it all is?
Chicago.
Illinois is a blue state, but it's like, most of our area is like pretty red.
Yes.
Then you get up into Chicago and it's all blue, and that's where all the crime seems to be.
Now, like the Democrats said, if you throw out all the murder, the crime rate goes way down. If you throw out all the shitty cities that are in the red states, the crime rate goes way the fuck down. Like if you get rid of Chicago, New Orleans, St. Louis, I don't know, what are some of the other blue cities in red states?
New York City.
New York City is a blue state because it's mostly New York City. But I think if you got rid of New York City, it'd be a pretty damn red state too.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. What did you see that video of Hillary? Had you heard that one yet?
I hadn't, actually. I think I heard somebody mention it, but I heard the quote. I don't even know if I knew it was Hillary, but it doesn't matter who it is. It's wrong.
It was definitely Hillary, and
beautiful sign of desperation, though.
Why is Hillary talking still? That's my real question.
Yeah, the fact that people think she still has credibility is scary as shit.
Yes.
The fact that she still thinks she has credibility is scary as shit.
It is.
Like,
do you think she's going to try to push for a comeback? Because she's been coming out a lot more lately.
I hope so.
She needs to come out.
Why not?
I mean,
yes. Bernie's still hanging on for dear life. Biden's still kicking. Like, all these people are just going to keep going. They're going to keep trying until they die because they literally have nothing to live for other than trying to obtain power. So why wouldn't they?
Sure.
I mean, what does that say about the Democratic Party that those are their superstars?
Right.
Yeah.
But look at the superstars on the Republican Party.
Well, that's why everybody's scared of Carrie Lake.
You got DeSantis and Trump.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Who hate each other, by the way.
Yeah.
As of now, they're like, the Democrats are coming out and saying that DeSantis is basically a Trump puppet, but Trump is bashing on DeSantis, and DeSantis was bashing on Trump this week. So I'm not sure how that plays out for them, but yeah, it's interesting.
What does it say for our society that this is all the superstars that we have all across the spectrum?
Yes,
right.
That between all the Democrats and all the Republicans and the millions of people in this country, like the most spry and young and agile is like a Beto O'Rourke dork. Like, that's it. Like, that's your new Barack Obama. Is Beto
I'm
O'Rourke.
holding out hope for Ye.
I'm holding out for Pete Buttigieg. That's who's going to save America. All right, let's move to the next stupid thing that I heard this week. This is from a city council election in Portland, Oregon. So something that doesn't affect us at all, but it's awesome because this woman, Hardesty, what's her first name? I don't know.
That's a Hardesty.
Her name is Hardesty, though. She told her voters that this election will determine if Portland moves towards a more humane, anti-racist future, or if we will slide back into Oregon's white supremacist and classist history. Now, she's
How
a black.
could Portland be more anti-racist than it already is?
So
isn't that where Chaz was?
Yes. Now,
what do you want?
Now, she's basically saying, if you don't vote for me, we're going to slide back into racist white supremacy. Do you know who she's running against? And now, remember, this is city council. It's not supposed to be like Democrat, Republican in the first place. It's just a person running
City council
on their own morals. But the person she is running against is Latino. And he's a staunch Democrat, no less.
Of course.
His name is
It does not matter. He is the enemy.
Rene Gonzalez. It says his website says he's a lifelong Democrat, firmly pro-choice, pro-gun reform, and committed to a city where families of all lifestyles are welcome.
And he's not black. He's not black.
And he's not her, so he must be a vote for white supremacy.
Right.
He's a MAGA Republican.
Yes. So again, politics are stupid. Yeah. And they're all just talking points. And everybody down to the local level has got to the point where it's like, if you don't vote for me, you're voting for white supremacy or communism or something.
Eating each other alive.
Yes, exactly. It's like they're both supposedly on the same side here, and they both supposedly support the same things. But because it's not her, she's regurgitating these talking points of, well, do you want white supremacy in this city? And he's like, I'm fucking Mexican. His response was, be better, Joanne. I'm a proud son of a Mexican migrant worker, married to a Latina woman, raising 3 biracial children, working towards a city that doesn't judge people or candidates based on their race. The election is about restoring...
He called Larry Elder the black white face, or the black face of white supremacy. Like, that was the best they could come up with because he was a black Republican.
Who called him this?
The media called Larry Elder that.
They
who was a very prominent
he ran for
media
governor
figure in California.
Yeah. They called a black man the black face of white supremacy.
Yes.
Yes.
And but the Republicans are the racist ones here?
Yes. Well, that's the thing. He's a Republican, therefore he's a racist, but he's also black, which makes it a little bit of a conundrum. So he's got that internalized racism. So he is the black face of white supremacy.
He's an Oreo.
Oh my God.
And this was like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
when
I missed that.
Gavin Newsom's shit was going.
Yeah, when Gavin Newsom was being recalled, he ran for governor.
I missed that so much. How did I miss that? All right. We're running out of time. We got to get through more stupidity. I wish I could play videos, but I can't. Joy Reid. You've heard the recent from Joy Reid and inflation, right?
How nobody's ever heard of inflation before Republicans brought it up as a MAGA talking point.
Yeah, it's just like...
We get it. You're stupid. You don't have to just go out and broadcast it. We don't all think the same way as you.
Now, yeah. So the video, she says that had anybody before now, a while ago, the only people that ever uttered the word inflation was journalists and economists. And so it's weird that Republicans are bringing up this word that's not, she says, common tongue to like the common folk here.
The phrase common tongue is less common tongue than inflation.
Inflation, yes. Now, does she really think it took a Republican to tell us that things are more expensive now than they were 2 years ago? Is that what she thinks? It's just like, man, if it wasn't for all these Republicans, you wouldn't even know that things sucked right now. So damn these Republicans for pointing out the fact that shit sucks right now.
To be fair, Joy Reid is only like 52 years old, so they haven't had really bad inflation since she was a little kid, and so she probably doesn't even know what inflation is.
No, the fun
now.
Well, yeah, now.
So we can all see it in real time, but the thing that amazes me about this is that like the media always calls us stupid. They always insinuate that we're stupid, but this is like proudly declaring that she's very stupid.
Yes.
Because she's like, I've never heard of this inflation thing before, and you guys haven't either, right? It's like, no, we all have, actually. You
imbecile. But
slut.
the fucking stupid, the worst part of it is 8 months ago on her show, she was defending inflation and saying, we had this pandemic and people were sitting on all this money, and then it opened back up and people wanted to buy a bunch of stuff and the supply lines couldn't keep up with it. And we have this thing called, and she said this, we have this thing called inflation. So she basically gave Inflation 101 8 months ago on her show, and then last week
hear Joy Reid.
Nobody watches her
101 on inflation.
Yes,
I would love to hear that.
Basically, what I said is exactly how she explained it, but she has the audacity to say nobody had heard of inflation until the Republicans brought it up. It's like, bitch, you were explaining what inflation was 8 months ago, defending inflation.
And nobody watches her show.
Right.
That's
She's
fair.
saying that nobody watched when I described the thing.
Yes.
Nobody's ever heard of this thing that I've told you about before.
Now, what does it garner votes by explaining to the general populace that they're all fucking stupid?
Feel like that's they try that every year.
Yes, Gavin Newsom did it during
Yeah.
COVID. It's like, you need us to explain to you what's going on because you don't understand what's happening right now.
I'm going to play the devil's advocate here.
Okay.
'Cause I like to. Do you think she's wrong?
No.
I mean,
No.
yes, we know about these things
Yes.
and the minimal stuff about economics and inflation, how that stuff works. But the general public, the reason why she feels comfortable saying this is because she's not really that wrong. And most people will hear it and be like, yeah, I didn't really understand inflation either. So thank you for validating my stupidity. I don't feel as dumb now because you said that we are all as dumb as I am.
But
I think she might be right.
She probably is right. But again, like, how does it work towards your campaign to say, you know, you're stupid, you should vote for me because I'm not as stupid as you, or you should vote
I don't
for
know
this
how
guy.
it helps them.
Yeah.
Other than convincing dummies that things aren't so bad. But I don't know how you go to the gas station and see that it's, higher than it was before. Like, you can see the effects there. It's not that subtle anymore. I don't know how many times you have to buy a loaf of bread for $7 before you're like, hey, this didn't used to be $7.
Yeah. I mean, a carton of eggs the other day was like $6. I'm like,
that's crazy.
That's really expensive. And then we accidentally left them out on the counter.
Oh,
and
no.
Yeah, I just burned $6 through my pocket. And
Yeah.
so,
Not in a good way.
Yeah, I was just like, we should probably eat these anyway.
Yeah.
Recently.
What's a little salmonella for $6?
Yeah, this is a $6 gamble we're playing here. It might be worth it.
It's like cookie dough. Just go with it.
Yes. So, I don't.
I bet I can see people being like, "Oh yeah, she's right." They don't. The Republicans are trying to bait us with this inflation shit.
Well, the thing is, the only people that are watching her show are the people that are voting against Republicans anyway.
Right.
She's on
This is
MSNBC.
true. This
so
is true.
It's not that she's going to convince a Republican or somebody that might vote Republican, hey, it's not as bad as it looks. No, it's basically her just reinforcing her base, saying, I know you're following us, and just keep following us because they're stupid, and you're stupid.
That's telling too, though, isn't it? If she she has to know that predominantly the only people who are going to be watching her show already agree with her, but she still feels the need to remind them
that they're stupid,
that they need to vote in the way that she wants them to.
That's
But that's pretty telling. Like, she knows that even her own base might be swayed the other way because things have gotten that bad, to where she's like, things aren't that bad, actually. And remember how you agree with me. Just keep agreeing with me and vote blue. That's all you need to know.
But isn't that the same on both sides? I mean, who is Sean Hannity or Tucker Carlson really convincing to switch their vote?
Right.
I mean, it's not like some or a Democrat's going to be like, oh, Tucker Carlson said a thing, I'm going to vote Republican. He was right. No, they're just like getting their own base, like, it's a big circle jerk for their own base, and it's hilarious to watch because it's like you see Tucker Carlson or you see Joy Reid or who's the other MSNBC chick? Is she
Come on, though. You can't really compare the two. Can you really compare the two? Like, Tucker Carlson definitely has more people outside of the Republican sphere that are willing to listen to Tucker Carlson's take than Joy Reid, because Tucker Carlson has had some times where he's been right.
Right.
Joy Reid hasn't had those. She just has people that agreed with her the whole time, and she was never like right and picked up people along the way. Tucker Carlson's been right and wrong here and there. I don't trust him, but he's been right on some things. And as a libertarian, I'm like, yeah, when you're right, you're right. That's all that matters. Joy Reid isn't right ever. So
how about Sean Hannity and Rachel Maddow? How about that? Far right, far left. How about is
two sides of the same coin? Yeah.
Okay, so we'll use that for an example then. What is freaking Sean Hannity doing that Rachel Maddow's not doing? Are they really reaching towards the center of the aisle there to pull votes their way? Or are they really reaching across the aisle to say, hey, come join our... No, they're just... All they're doing is screaming things at their own base, saying...
They're screaming whatever they can to maintain their ability to keep screaming the things that make them the money. Like, it really has nothing to do... I don't even believe that these people care that much about the politics. They just believe that... if they say these things loud enough and angry enough and get people riled up enough, then their numbers keep going.
Sure.
And Rachel Maddow still has a job somehow.
I mean, it's kind of similar to Donald Trump. I mean, is anybody going to vote for Donald Trump that wasn't already going to vote for Donald Trump? Why are they spending all this money on campaigns in the first place when those people are going to vote for them anyways?
Yeah.
And they're just going to stay stupid shit. And people are going to be like, yeah, I agree with your stupid point. I'm going to continue to stupidly vote for you because you had a stupid point and I'm stupid.
Well, like I said, some of these candidates, they're not trying. They're not even trying to like connect with people. They're literally just saying, I am the Donald Trump supported candidate, and that's all that matters. Like, I'm kind of glad because you're at least not wasting a bunch of, I'm sure they're still blowing money on something else.
Oh, yeah.
But they're not blowing money on trying to convince people of things. I would rather them just come out and say, I'm running on nothing. Actually, I'm just, Donald Trump likes me, so I'm cool.
Yes.
And then at least the 10 or 12 of us that are like, actually thinking about these things are going to be like, well, you're nothing, and it doesn't matter what letter is next to your name. You're absolutely nothing. You don't stand for anything. You mean nothing. You might do the job well, but you probably won't because you don't stand for anything.
So does that ruin it for the young rookie who comes out? He's like, yeah, I got a 12-point plan to get the economy back on track and to fix our education system and everything. And people are like, actually, we just want to know which side are you with Trump or without?
Yeah, well,
you're talking to the autistic libertarians. Yes, yes, we are very familiar with that.
Now,
here's why economics doesn't work, and everybody's like, well, are you a Republican? No. Well, then you're a Democrat. Shit.
Well, you're talking to a TikTok age where you have like literally 0.8 seconds to make your point. So once you get into all this like autistic economic shit, people like swipe up next, and so literally all you have time is, I'm not Trump. Oh, he's not Trump. Let's vote for him. You catch it between the swipes. I mean, people have
scary shit.
The attention span of a fucking squirrel at this point.
Yeah.
So literally all they have time to say is, vote for blue or democracy dies, and people are like, oh, you got my attention there, or let's make America great again. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say how. What?
Which is why, because of the TikTok generation that has the attention span of a goldfish, that's why we have campaigns like Jeremy Kauffman in New Hampshire running for Senate, where we have such poignant ads like war is gay and war is retarded. And they get your attention very quickly.
I love it.
Then they give you an actual message.
Now, I had a video clip pulled up of a fellow libertarian here in Iowa, a video that you may or may not have made. What is the point of that Iowa libertarian? What's his video campaign run on?
What is his video campaign run on?
What is his campaign?
Run on rock and roll. I don't know. What do you mean?
I'm pretty sure you made this video.
I made 3 videos for Rick Stewart.
Oh, the one I saw
Iowa
was
governor.
basically vote for me and you get to smoke weed. It's basically his platform. So yes,
we did one on weed, we did one on psychedelics, and we did like psychedelic therapy, and we did one on eminent domain. And for those we just like, he was all for doing the funny stuff, and that's the great thing about libertarians is we run on principles, and because we're running on principles, we don't care what people think, and we also know that we're going to lose, so that gives it another level of don't give a shit about what people think,
yes,
to where we can actually do some fun messaging. But he and I sat down for like a couple hours, he drove out here to the Quad Cities, and we sat down for a couple hours and brainstormed in the morning, and came up with a spin. And it's basically like each one is just him, like the angry uncle lecturing stupid Kim Reynolds for Iowa governor.
It's like weed grows in a ditch right there. Corn grows, we can grow corn. Weed grows, why can't we grow weed? That's basically basically
and like he's talking about being over in Illinois, and we'll shoot like 2 to 3 hours probably on each one and cut it down to 2 minutes. So there's like a shit ton, but there's one point where I was like, talk about how there's weed grown in the ditches over here in Illinois, because like ditch weed. It's like there's weed grown in the ditches. It's like God put it there. What do you think you're smarter than God, Kim? It's like, just condescending douchebaggery.
Now,
and,
what's better?
Some of the funnest stuff I've had to work on.
So that's Rick Scott's his name, right?
Rick Stewart.
Sorry, getting my people mixed up. He's running for governor in Iowa. So if you're in Iowa, definitely go vote for that guy, because that's the only one I care about is Rick Stewart. And that's probably the only reason I will go to an election poll place tomorrow is to vote for Rick Stewart, because God put weed in the ditches, and that's it. Now compare that to, I saw a Chuck Grassley ad, and like we said, Chuck Grassley's been in Senate for 75 years. It was basically, Chuck Grassley's a farmer. He knows what it's like to be a farmer. And the picture, the clip that they show of Chuck Grassley
was a farmer 45 years ago.
Yeah, right. The clip that they show when they're saying how much of a farmer's farmer Chuck Grassley is Chuck Grassley on a brand new shiny riding lawnmower in in dress slacks and dress shoes, like driving a never been touched rider lawnmower before. It's like, you convinced me Chuck Grassley must be a farmer.
Yeah. Chuck Grassley visited a John Deere pavilion and took this photo op. He was a farmer, though, when he was a wee lad, so he knows the value of hard work.
Chuck Grassley mowed a strip of lawn that one time in a video. You should vote for him.
Yeah, right. Yep.
So the last thing I want to talk about, this just popped up today. I saw instant...
Happy 9/11, by the way.
Is that what time it is? Oh, shit. Yeah. Happy 9/11, everybody. I saw instant outrage against Elon Musk today, and I'm like, oh, my God, what did he do now? Because the first thing I saw was some guy who had a blue check mark that I don't care or know who he was said, I am never going to drive a Tesla again, and I am considering leaving Twitter. That was his outrage. I'm just like, what did Elon Musk do now? This is what Elon Musk said today. Elon Musk told independent-minded voters to vote for Republicans for Congress.
It's not the first time he said it, I don't think.
It's probably not.
A year ago.
But that's what the outrage is over. And that's the title. Musk tells independent-mind voters to vote Republican for Congress. Here's his reasoning. It's not because he's a MAGA Republican. His reasoning is shared power curbs the worst excesses of both parties. Therefore, I recommend voting Republicans for Congress, given that the presidency is Democrat. I mean...
It's logical.
Yeah, the balance of powers, the Constitution was founded on was power balance, and he's just like, it's probably not a good idea to all be on one side, so maybe we should have one side on one and one side on the other. And people are like, oh my God, he supports Republicans, he supports the end of democracy.
Dun, dun, dun.
Now he came on to defend that and said, I primarily vote Democrat all the time across the board, except for this year. So I don't know what you're saying, but that doesn't matter, because he said...
he did say like 6 months ago, like, I've always voted Democrat, but now I'm going to vote Republican or something like that. I don't remember what it was over at the time, but...
Pretty much he did what he said he was going to do, and it's not because... I mean, maybe he is a MAGA Republican. I don't know.
I doubt it.
But no, maybe he just likes money, and he knows Republicans will make him more money, and so that's why he's saying vote that. It's probably self-serving.
Oh yeah.
But the fact that they can't...
Everything Elon Musk does is self-serving.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what do you think about this outrage here? Is it founded outrage?
I mean, it's not founded outrage. I don't give a shit what Elon Musk says. I think it's stupid to be offended by him saying that, and I think it's stupid to care, like, for Republicans to be like, yeah, go Elon. Like, I don't trust Elon Musk. I think that he is a snake oil salesman with a lot of money, and I don't know. I don't know how many times you can like warn us about AI and keep making brain chips for people, and then like
but
talk about
he's making
gonna take over.
He's making the brain chips to fight the AI, the bad AI. He's making good AI to fight the bad AI, obviously.
Right. Yes.
Obviously.
And even like with the stuff that came out last night with Kathy Griffin and Ethan Klein and all these Democrats getting banned from Twitter, there's a part of me that's like, I don't think that's necessarily a good move.
Right.
And also I find it fucking hilarious. So like it's a toss up.
Yeah.
Because I don't like these people, and I like that they're not talking now. But
but the
and
precedent.
looking into it further, I know that what Kathy Griffin said, like she basically changed her name to Elon Musk, and she had a blue check, and she had her Facebook or her display picture changed to Elon Musk, and then she said something like, I don't know, something about Elon Musk or something, and made it sound, it was really bad, like something about stock trading or something like that. But
Sure.
It makes sense for him to like temporarily like kick her off and say you can't do this, but he's been on this tirade, I guess you could call it, with several prominent Democrat figures who changed their name to Elon Musk, getting kicked off for having a parody account, technically, that didn't specifically label itself a parody account.
Mm-hmm.
And all these people, like, I'm torn because all these people are people who praised like Alex Jones and Milo Yiannopoulos getting kicked off of Twitter and everything back in the day. And to see them go, it's like, yeah, but I don't want to be the same where we're like celebrating this guy who, like, the whole reason why he said that he was going to buy Twitter was because Babylon Bee got kicked off for some parody shit. And now he's going to be like, well, you're not allowed to have a parody account, actually, without specifically labeling it a parody account.
Right.
Also, he hasn't brought back Babylon Bee, which I think is pretty sus.
Well, it kind of seems like he's throwing like the tantrum of like what's the young king on Game of Thrones?
Oh, Joffrey.
Yeah, it seems like he's gotten a little bit of power and he's turned into a Joffrey, because I thought he was kind of cool being a Twitter troll, and then when he took over Twitter, it's just like, well, that's fine, but don't troll me because I am the king, and don't make me look bad. And it's, I think I've got a worse image of Elon Musk since he took over Twitter than now. But we're not really here to talk Twitter. We're here to talk about the election shit, and I find it ridiculous that the outrage that they're making. Somebody's not going to buy a Tesla now because he said vote Republican. It's freaking insane. Like, Elon Musk is probably shedding a tear for him right now.
Yes, Elon Musk is like hurting for money desperately, and he needed your sale.
It was funny though, because he posted this on Twitter. And he's like, I'm not gonna buy Teslas ever, and I'm considering leaving Twitter. It's just like, if you were that outraged, just fucking leave Twitter.
Yeah, right.
Like,
Don't make a big production about it.
Yes.
I've always loved Elon's trolling, and there was somebody who did something like that. I don't know, it was a couple of years ago. I did some digging into Elon a while back, and there was one guy who came out and said that he wasn't going, like, he was going to cancel his like pre-order of the new Tesla or something like that over some outrage bullshit. And the next morning he woke up and he had received an email that said that his order had been canceled, like, without him even doing it. They were like, no, you're not allowed to buy this now.
And
like that type of stuff. I'm like, that's pretty great.
That is pretty awesome. But it's all stupid. It's all bullshit. At the end of the day, tomorrow is election day. Dan,
the blood moon.
What is your advice to our listeners tomorrow for election day? What is your profound libertarian advice for tomorrow? What should we do?
First and foremost, my most profound libertarian advice is to go listen to Two Scoops Morning News tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., where we will celebrate the end of democracy and the blood moon simultaneously by drinking the blood of children.
Yes.
But my actual advice would be to, I know the expected advice would be to vote libertarian. I actually had somebody message me earlier who was like, hey, I voted today. He voted early, and he was like, there was a surprising amount of libertarians on the ballot, and I voted for all of them. And I was like, well, cool. I actually did some research today, and I realized that one of the libertarians was like pro-vax, pro, like very open border. I'm open to the open border debate or whatever, but very like a lot of left-leaning positions. Really, the vax thing. Like he was like, I've taken 3 vaxes, and I would take a 4th one if it came out because they're a miracle, but it shouldn't be forced on anybody. I'm like, well, I don't trust you. Like,
Right.
You're allowed to have that opinion, but I'm not going to vote for that. So, like, my opinion or my recommendation would be don't vote down ballot for anybody. I don't care if they're Libertarian or Republican or Democrat. Like, look up their principles and what they're actually running on. And I know that it's getting really difficult because most of these people just have nothing on their page that they're even running on because they're not running on anything. And if they're not running on anything, then don't vote for them, would be my opinion. And if you have, like, Democrat or Republican who's running unopposed and you either don't agree with their principles or core values or you don't know what they are, don't vote for them. Like, you're voting for NOTA. You're voting for none of the above, because if you're not even going to put in the effort to make a very simple splash page that says, here's what I believe and why you should vote for me, then why should I vote for you? And I'm not going to.
Yeah.
So vote for who you actually believe in and don't vote for who you don't.
Last question. If you had to write in anybody on any ballot as a write-in vote, who would it be and why?
So just one
anybody
libertarian to rule them all.
Not even it doesn't even have to be a libertarian. Anybody that you're just like some people are like, I just wrote Mickey Mouse and everything. It's like, why the fuck did you even go to the like drive to the freaking polling station then? Anybody in
I know
your
at least
body.
one person in the world has written me in for president on an actual presidential ballot. And I'm fine with protest votes. I think that libertarianism is generally a protest vote. If I were just going to like write somebody in, if my hypothetical made up figure that I was going to write into anything at right now would be Jeremy Kauffman, because I'm working on his campaign. Could also be Spike Cohen, and they're very different people from each other, both Jeremys. I have one Jeremy Kauffman on one shoulder that is like the devil, and then I have Jeremy Spike Cohen on the other shoulder who's like my angel. And they both appreciate my sense of humor, but they don't necessarily appreciate each other's sense of humor. But yeah, I would write in probably Jeremy Kauffman at this point, just because he's actually running for something, and he's right. He's correct on most things.
And because war is gay.
Because war is gay,
yes.
And also retarded.
And also retarded. Bill, write-in vote, like who would be your ultimate write-in vote?
Actually, I do this all the time because I get pissed that I don't know exactly what the judges that are running, because they don't tell you what the judges do, right?
Yeah.
And when I'm in the booth, I don't have time to like Google them.
Yes.
Right? I just write myself in.
It's fair. That's
because I believe in me.
That's the definition of a sociopath there. You will make a great politician someday.
Yes.
My write-in vote tomorrow, if I choose to write in, I'm going to write in Joe Biden for every position, because I want to see his confused brain if he actually gets elected to some like low like city council position. He's just like,
what about John Fetterman?
Ooh, that's a good one too, though. Can I put
another question? Is do you would you rather have Oz win, or would you rather have John Fetterman win? Because frankly, Oz isn't good enough for me to care that whether he wins or not, he's just the same as everything else. John Fetterman being in there would just be.
I want to see Fetterman's acceptance speech when he gets up there and he's just like, "I like ice cream."
You know, you make a good point there, because I asked you that. It's like, really, would you take Fetterman over Oz, though? Look at Fetterman. He's going to fuck up everything. I mean, it's already fucked.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That would be
at least make it humorous.
Podcast gold if John Fetterman is a public official. Like, not just like a little small-town mayor like he was for like 13 years. Like, Senate speech. Like we talk shit about AOC when she gets up and gives a congressional, like, addresses the House of Representatives. Can you imagine John Fetterman standing up and addressing Congress?
Yes.
I want that.
I
want
not
that
just
now.
The podcast gold either. Like, there's something beautiful. Like, when I say Joe Biden 2024, I'm not entirely joking, because I know that the option is going to be between Joe Biden and Donald Trump or DeSantis or whatever, and they all have their pros and cons except for Joe Biden, but mostly cons. And I'm like, there's something about me that loves the Joe Biden presidency. Like the longer it goes on, it's like you guys keep having to own up to this thing. You guys keep having to eat crow every single day and backpedal, and like it's just beautiful. I want to see them try and prop up Joe Biden for 4 more years.
Yes.
Put John Fetterman in there with him.
Yes.
Like
Biden Fetterman ticket.
The only reason that they will run Joe Biden at this point is because they know that Kamala Harris is somehow worse than Joe Biden's corpse. And that's the only other option that they have right now. So make them keep owning it. Make them keep eating their shit.
That's fair. But I do want to see a Biden Fetterman ticket in
I think that would be
2024.
amazing.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, imagine any sort of like speech, anything where they're both on stage at the same time. First of all, the person that gets tasked with being their sign language person, that's got to be hard. That's got to be fucking hard.
You'd see them blow their brains out on stage.
Teleprompters, absolute garble. Nothing. I mean, the whole thing just goes up in the flames that we want to see it anyway.
That's
so
true.
So let's do it. Let's make that happen. Everybody here, go vote Joe Biden and John Fetterman in 2024. That is my
I think
advice.
Rachel Maddow would commit suicide.
That would be worth it.
Yes, absolutely. That's all the time we got. Dan,
Win-win.
Dan, I appreciate you coming on and telling me how bad my show sucks. And
You're welcome.
Yeah.
It could have been worse. A lot worse.
It could have been. I could have been playing because I had 4 or 5 videos for the second half. That would have just been, especially once it gets to the audio version on the podcast platforms, it would have just been like us sitting in silence, and that would have been fantastic. So,
do you find yourself now thinking back to all the previous episodes and wondering how many of them didn't have audio?
No, because I extensively edit things, and I typically go to the videos and see how shitty they sound to see if I gotta like cut them in. So no, I am very attentive to my editing. I don't just turn around and post it the next day without looking at shit. I spend a lot of time on it. So no, I would have found out tomorrow when I went to edit it and been like, I can't post any of this. So sorry, no episode this week, guys.
Piece it all back together and like cut out whenever you guys talk and then put it back in.
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah. I might have saved you from a blood red moon nightmare.
Yes, absolutely. Everybody, remember to go out and vote for stupidity tomorrow, because that's all
John
it is.
Fetterman.
Vote for John Fetterman. Write John Fetterman into every blank on every ballot, because that is how we save democracy.
Can't hurt it.
Dan, while you're here, why don't you tell everybody where we can find you and who you are and stuff?
My name is Dan. I host a show called The System Is Down on thesystemisdown.tv, which can be found on the internet. You just push the power button. It's the circle with the line through it on the back of your computer, typically. And then you wait for it to boot up, and then it probably won't work if you run off of a PC these days.
Clearly.
So buy a Mac. Buy a Mac, and then turn it on. And then go to www.thesystemisdown.tv, where you will find that.
That's the most extensive explanation of where to find yourself I've ever had a guest do on the show. So thank you.
I can go on if you need. If your listeners are too simple to have picked up on what I'm putting down thus far, I can continue.
Is your show doing anything election related tomorrow that people should tune in for?
Tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., I believe, on youtube.com/The System Is Down, you can watch 2 Scoops morning news, where we'll be talking about the end of democracy and having a party. This is my way of telling you subtly, Craig, that that's what we're doing tomorrow morning, because I just now decided.
Okay.
And then on tomorrow night on Dave Casey's show, Dave versus Goliath, I'm going to be going on there, I believe, to... he's going to be having quite a few people on to do just an election night party, and I'm very glad that he did, because I thought about doing it, but then I realized I don't pay attention, actually, to most things, and I'm not going to try to pretend like I do.
So
I will.
You just want to go on and drink and talk shit is what you want to do, without having to worry about things.
Yes.
Okay.
Hopefully his videos work.
I hope so. That sounds like a hoot. I am jealous of you.
Yeah.
But
it'll be fun.
Yes.
And then Wednesday at 2 p.m., normal news stuff. Probably doing some post-election coverage if any of us are still alive to talk about it.
We won't.
We're going to probably be talking about how remembering our fondest memories of democracy by that point.
Yes. That is all. We are way over our time because that's what we do. We never stick to our time.
Never.
But this has been fun. Not as fun as I would have liked, but fun. Mostly not as fun as I would have liked because, Dan, you showed up. And
I understand.
Yeah, exactly.
We didn't have any audio.
Yes, that too. So, everybody, have a great rest of your week. Make sure you join us tomorrow morning for the Two Scoops morning show with me and Dan there. Because he decided what we're going to talk about tomorrow. So we're going to talk about things, and it's going to be fun. 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, as always, every Tuesday and Thursday. Make sure you show up for those because it's always a blast. Make sure you check us out all over social media. You can find us at the Break the Bell Pod. Share it, like it, subscribe, do all those things the kids tell you to do these days so we can be better at our jobs or worse. I don't know. Or we'll just continue to be what we are, but for more people. So
that's what we are.
Be back for the weekend wrap-up, which is inevitably where we wrap up your week on the weekend. Otherwise, be back here next Monday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, same channel. Don't miss it. It'll be fun. We'll catch you next time.
War is gay.
War is gay. Dan, goodbye.
Goodbye.
The Break the Bell podcast is brought to you by you. So pat yourself on the back because without you, we would be talking to ourselves. A special thanks to our Patreon members, Justin Zielinski, Remzo Martinez, Stephanie Parker, and T.O. Jacobson. A shout out to our sponsors, Run Your Mouth Coffee, the On the Run podcast, and Goulash Media. If you'd like to help support us, visit patreon.com/breakthebell or buy our garbage at breakthebell.bigcartel.com. Get back here next week and let us continue to invade your ear holes. And as always, never stop talking.